which is defined as an act of renewed attention to interest of something old, a new presentation, or a restoration of force, validity, or effect. Now, as for the 5 players that we're going to be talking about today, I think that second definition is the key one to hone in on. Yo, what is up, guys? It is FSKFC back here with another video, and today we are going to be talking about 5 players who have revived their careers in 2025, this entire 2024-2025 season. Because Lord only knows, some of these players' careers was definitely on life support, and the season that they're having currently has done a lot to inject new life into their otherwise failing reputations. But with that being said, let's get to the list. The first player we're going to start with is one Ousmane Dembele. Now, Dembele has been someone that has been at the top of the football scene since he was, just a teenager, coming on when he started at Stade Rennais. Had that amazing season at Dortmund. He was constantly injured at Barcelona, and even throughout his first season at PSG, he wasn't really looked at as being someone that was amazing. So coming into this season at the age of 27, for him to finally find his goal scoring form, and you can even kind of just see, towards this part of the screen, the guy has already almost scored as many goals for PSG as he did at Barcelona for 6 years. And the impressive thing about Dembele is most of this started around November. Here I have a comparison between Dembele's first season at PSG compared to the season he's having now. So the first season on the left, this current season on the right. And I want you to look at the heat map. First thing that stands out to me already is you can see he has way more touches in the box this season than he did last year. And the thing that stands to me out more after that is when you look at the amount of shots that he's actually taking, right? You see here, he has a combined amount of like 2.7 shots. When you combine his off-target versus his on-target shots, and you see here it's like 1.2. So the dude has basically like doubled, almost tripled the amount of shots he's taking. And he's done that while also having significantly more accuracy. As you see here, he underperformed his XG last year in the league of only 4 goals, whereas right now he's overperformed his XG of 15 goals by like 6. So it shows that he's just been, incredibly more clinical. You see here as well, he's still able to keep the playmaking somewhat comparable. I think the thing that probably is the most interesting statistic is the fact that his dribbles have gone down by a lot. So you can see that he's really focusing more on that goal scoring game and less on that like bell-to-bell dribbling, even though he still has that attribute in his locker. See that performance against Manchester City back in December. And I would say all this to say that his ability to go up a notch in terms of his goal scoring has really been key for PSG this season. And it will be interesting to see if he can lead them to a Champions League trophy. For Rafinha this season, this one's a bit more straightforward. I've actually talked about this in a previous video, so cheap plug there. I think the biggest difference has just been his off-the-ball runs, the fact that Barcelona as a whole just create a lot of chances, and he has just also been more clinical as well. You can kind of see just by looking again at the heat map. The heat map shows you a lot, guys. The heat map shows you a lot. You look at this season, look how red the box is compared to last year, right? You look at the amount of shots, you compare the two, and this is just in La Liga, which is not even his most where he's made the most prolific jump. Now you look at his playmaking gone up almost twofold, almost twice as many big chances created, and there's still like 3 matches left. So you could look at literally him tripling his creative statistics this season. And then when we look at like the Champions League, that's when it gets diabolical, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's when it gets absurd. Just look at this: 12 goals compared to 3, overperforming his XG by like over twice as much. Like his ability to, again, really just be clutch has gone up like tenfold. So yeah, Rafinha, shout out to that guy, bro. Again, you look at his production over the entirety of the season. It's basically more than doubled every single season he's had for the last 3 years. So bro's cooking. It is what it is. Bro's cooking. Next up, we have Moise Kean of Fiorentina. He is 25 years old. He scored 17 goals in Serie A this season. He scored 23 goals overall. This has been kind of a revival for him as well. He started off at Juventus at the age of I think it was 17 or 18. And, he was looked at as a player with lots of potential. I think the thing that really kind of hampered his progression was mainly a bad stint at Everton. And then even beyond that, I would say it was mostly injuries. So if you look at the amount of 90s he's played over the last 5 years, this is the first time we've gotten over 20 since 2021. So you're looking at 4 years of a young player's development where he's basically been injured constantly and not really had a chance to get a run of consistent game time to really build up his rhythm. So this is the first season where he's been able to do that since his time at PSG, and you can see he's getting back to his best in terms of goal scoring. And even when I watch him, the thing that really sticks out to me is his ability to essentially use his physicality and his speed in a way where he can create separation off of his defenders. And he has the shooting technique and the venom, and he can hit the ball with such a venom that anytime he's able to get that separation, he can place the ball wherever he needs to make it difficult for the goalkeeper. Now, of course, I could show you game footage, but copyright is a what, so I'm not going to do that. But that has probably been his main attribute in terms of why he's been so good this season. And you can see that in the fact that he can generate so many shots. And this is despite the fact that Fiorentina are a pretty low possession team. They're not a heavy chance creation team like a Barcelona or a Liverpool or a PSG. So the fact that he's able to do that is quite impressive. And you can see here as well, right? You look at his tackle win percentage, his duels win percentage, his area duels percentage. It kind of shows, again, that physicality I'm talking about and that ability to get into the nitty gritty of, dealing with his opponents. So I think he's been amazing this season. I wouldn't be surprised me if, he goes on to play for a bigger club come next season. Next, we're going to talk about Crystal Palace center back Maxime Lacroix. I don't know if I said his name right. Hopefully I did. So this was a guy that came to Crystal Palace. He's 25 years old. He came from Wolfsburg, and I remember he had a lot of hype around 2021, 2022. He was supposed to be one of the next great center backs at the age of like 20. For those of you that played FIFA, you remember that he had a freaking pace of like 90 plus as a center back before that was even a thing. But basically, while he was at Wolfsburg, throughout the seasons, his momentum kind of stalled a bit. Part of that was just due to how he was utilized. He was expected to kind of play and defend in wider areas than what he was used to. You can kind of see that here when you look at his heat map at Crystal Palace this season compared to Wolfsburg last year. And it's kind of exposed some of his weaknesses because at times he could be put under heavy pressure. I think the biggest thing with him was his bad discipline. This guy would get red cards a lot. Like, it was seriously kind of ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there was a season where the dude got like 3 red cards in a year, which is really hard, by the way. Like, I just want to put that out there. And it's just one of those things where, the way Oliver Glasner uses him at Crystal Palace is really getting the best out of him. Because at Crystal Palace, he's mostly used in kind of the center of like a back three alongside Mark Gahey and Jefferson Lerma. So he's kind of able to utilize more of his pace. He's able to kind of act as like a almost like a safety for the other two. So like if anybody gets beat, he can kind of scour from the middle and kind of patrol those areas as opposed to starting out here. Now if he gets done by, he has to obviously make the run back. So he's been immense for them this season. He's been a big part of the reasons that they've been able to make the FA Cup final, as well as the fact that they've probably been one of the best teams in the Premier League this calendar year. So I think that's why he deserves a special mention, because this is a guy, like I said, he had big hype about him coming from Wolfsburg. It stalled, and he was obviously now reviving his career only at the age of 25. And last but certainly not least, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Antony. So obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, we know about Antony's story. He started off at Ajax, was good while he was over there, came to Manchester United for 100 million euros. Let's just say he didn't exactly perform up to that standard. Then he is now currently on loan at Real Betis, and he has also been enjoying a revival of sorts. So I think the thing to start with Antony is, I just think that La Liga probably is a league that can emphasize a lot of what he does well. He has always been decent from a technical standpoint. I think the thing with Antony is he just doesn't really lack the type of pace and power needed to really get yourself over in the Premier League, which honestly is a different video in of itself to talk about main points of that. Because there's another winger I can think of currently at Chelsea that I could probably say the same thing about, but not gonna go there, off topic. And while he's been in La Liga, I think the thing that really stands out to me, outside of what I just said, is when you take a look at kind of where he's operating in a lot of the same zones. So this is his heat map from last season at United, and his heat map currently in La Liga right now. So he's doing a lot of the same, like he's operating in a lot of the same places. And I think the thing that really stands out to me is when you look at his attacking statistics, right, specifically the playmaking, it's just worlds apart in terms of how much better he is at it, right? Like you look at the chances created, he's already surpassed his chances created for the last season in like 10 games, right? He's getting more accurate long balls by almost twice as much. He's completing significantly more crosses by an absurdly significant difference in terms of like 8%, right? Look at the dribbles, almost 1.5 times as much dribbles on similar efficiency. And then I think the thing that's really underrated about him too is, bro, if you check out some of the goals this guy's been scoring, his ball striking has been insane. You look at his first goal for Real Betis. You look at his goal that he just scored against Fiorentina in the Conference League. The dude knows how to hit a freaking ball. And I do think also, Batiste kind of just play, when you look at some of the plays that Batiste have, the likes of Isco, Batiste probably play with a bit more of an attacking flow that suits Antony's skill set. But I mean, kudos to him though, because he has been the butt of a lot, and I do mean a lot of memes, especially about calling him a Beyblade, calling him a fidget spinner, all of that. So yeah, shout out to the man, the myth, legend himself, Anthony. So that's going to be it for my video for today. If you liked the video, then you should subscribe to the channel. And I thank you again for watching all the way through. And most importantly of all, remember